Hi, Dr. YASS here. In this video, I want to talk about one of the primary reasons that the medical system is failing in their ability to address your pain globally. This is not just a national issue, it's a global issue. And it really pertains to the payment method that is utilized. And I don't think people really have taken this into account as to why, if there is this absolute obvious indication that the medical system is failing, why isn't it changing? And it pertains primarily to the payment method that is utilized, and that is the idea of it being a fee-for-service basis, which is to say that you get a service performed, and regardless of the outcome of that service, the practitioner gets paid. And it doesn't matter if you're talking a chiropractor, a physical therapist, a neurologist, an orthopedic surgeon. It doesn't really matter who it is. As long as it's within the medical field and insurance is covering it, then the insurance company pays when the claim is put in by the practitioner, and there's no demand for any indication of outcome. Did the service achieve the outcome it was intended to? The answer is it doesn't matter. And so I try to make it clearer by understanding this idea that if you were to go to a fancy restaurant and you were going to have a steak made for you, and it was $50, $60 for that steak, and they brought it to your table and the steak was charred, would you pay for it? The answer is, of course not. Let's say you went to your mechanic and your car wasn't working correctly, and they say they fixed it. You go back, you turn the engine on, and the car doesn't start. Do you pay for the service? Of course not. But if you had lower back pain and you had a 3-level fusion performed for $150,000 to $200,000, and now you have even more pain and less functionality, does the orthopedic surgeon get paid? Of course he does, without any hesitation. When you go for physical therapy for 6 months to a year, 3 times a week, and they're getting paid through that process, and you are not one iota better, in fact, maybe worse, do they get paid? Sure, they get paid. It doesn't matter who the practitioner is. The reality is that as long as you show up and sign that page that says you showed up, they're going to bill and they're going to get paid. If you recognize this now, that outcome has nothing to do with payment, why would you possibly think that even though every bit of evidence says that the medical system is failing completely in all aspects, every area, in addressing people's pain, why would you think it's going to change? Because you think it should change? Well, there's no incentive for it to change. As long as these people are getting paid regardless of outcome, they are more than happy to keep things going. And it's basically a monopoly, right? There's no bizarro world medical establishment. There's just the medical establishment. So as long as you recognize that these people are getting paid whether you get better or not, the system's not going to change. It's just that simple. And I certainly experience the frustration of people. I just started a session with a lady last night. She had some shoulder pain. She went for physical therapy for a year. She got multiple cortisone shots in her shoulder. For what? For what? She has an extreme loss of range of motion. She has pain at a very high level in terms of the amount of time she experiences, that it completely impedes the ability of her to use this arm. She's worse off a year later than she was when this first happened. And the orthopedist got paid for multiple cortisone shots, and the physical therapist got paid for a year's worth of therapy. Does anyone think this makes sense? Is this acceptable? In my mind, it's atrocious, it's criminal, and it needs to be stopped. And it's one of the primary reasons I said, you know what, I don't want to be any part of the medical establishment, and moved outside of it. And you pay me, when you're paying me, you're not paying with insurance, you're paying with your own money. And as a result of that, you're going to be much more conscious about requiring an outcome, which you should require an outcome. And I intend to provide that outcome. Your money is well spent when you come and get the YASS method. Every bit of evidence shows that you are going to feel better after just the first session. There'll be an indication of improvement, which indicates you're addressing the proper tissue, which is responsible for the symptoms you're experiencing. The sessions are videotaped. So you have the ability to go back and look at it over and over again to make sure you're understanding what the intent is. What is the purpose of getting the YASS method? The purpose is to identify the tissue in distress, resolve the distress of that tissue, thereby ending its need to elicit the emergency signal, distress signal of pain or other symptom. That's what we're doing, and it turns out in more than 98% of cases it's muscle, which makes it even easier because we just have to know which muscles to address, make sure you're performing the correct exercise correctly and utilizing progressive resistance, the ability of the muscle to adapt to a greater and greater resistance, thereby causing it to get stronger to the point where its force output is greater than the force requirement of your activities, which ultimately leads it to be able to perform your activities without straining and eliciting symptoms. That's what this is all about. That's what you get. Money well spent. Money paid to achieve a goal. Being pain-free and fully functional. That's what you get when you get the YASS method. It is outside the medical system. Your problem is not medical in the vast majority of cases. It is muscular in nature. Muscular causes do not show up on diagnostic tests. There ain't no medical practitioner, specialty, educated or trained to identify and treat these causes. That's why this poor lady has to stay in pain for over a year and seeing a greater and greater loss in her functionality. One treatment, you already saw an improvement in her range of motion, her ability to use her arm, and a decrease in symptom. That's what this is about. Speed and accuracy. That's what you get with the YASS method. All right? So don't be shocked when you go to any medical practitioner and you're no better. The primary reason is because it's a fee-for-service basis and they don't care. There is no reason to be concerned about you getting improvement or not. It doesn't matter. I get paid one way or the other. And if the incentive is to keep you coming back so I can continue to get paid, it shouldn't be shocking why there's no great rush to see you get a successful outcome. All right? It's a very sad thing to recognize, but it is reality. And until you're ready to deal with reality, it's going to be very hard for you to move forward and get the right type of treatment that you need to end your symptoms and to get your life back. All right? All right. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like my YouTube channel, Dr. Mitchell YASS, please subscribe to get notifications when new videos are added or when I am live on YouTube. If you have a question about what I speak about, by all means, you can contact me at drmitch@mitchellyass.com, DRMITCH at MITCHLLYASS.com. If this is making so much sense to you, and you've recognized me uniquely through this method as the only real person who's giving you a legitimate means of diagnosing and treating the cause of your symptoms, and you would like to schedule a Skype or Zoom session, again, contact me by email, drmitch@mitchellyass.com, DRMITCH at MITCHLLYASS.com, drmitch@mitchellyass.com. Folks, this is the answers. I'm giving them all. I'm making you understand why you're not getting better. And this is globally. There's nothing unique. It's the system. You need to recognize the system is not working for you, and you need to find an alternative to that system, which does exist in the YASS method, which is specifically designed to address your issue and get it resolved quickly and effectively. That is the YASS method. All right? For now, Dr. Mitchell YASS wishing you a pain-free, fully functional life. Bye-bye for now.